everyone, welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios. And today I'm jumping in on Try It Tuesday. This was inspired by Maddie Azar at Spectrum Art Creations. There are several others on YouTube that do Try It Tuesday. There's Tip Tuesday, there's Try It Tuesday, there's Tag Tuesday. It begins with a T and matches with Tuesday. It's probably out there. But I figured if I'm going to jump in with Try It Tuesday, I would start off with a tag booklet inspired by a project from Maddie at Spectrum Art Creations, and I will link that video down below. Now, I did not have the kit that she used. I believe it was a Simple Stories, which is one of my weaknesses, but I've really been trying to curb my spending till I use some of what I have. Now, she has challenges going on in the Facebook group that end tomorrow, I believe, the 29th. And so I wanted to get a couple of more challenges done in. I'm recording this on Sunday. I've been working on this tag book for 3 days. So, but it's been a stop and start kind of thing. But I knew I had some papers from Bo Bunny. Let me move this out of the way for a moment. I used Whiteout Cross Country 12 by 12, Whiteout Frozen 12 by 12, and Whiteout Bo Bunny's Back to Backs. And okay, this one was the tickets. This one was Journey, Whiteout Journey. So those were the 3 papers I started off with. I do not have a lot of any of them left, but there was a 12 by 12 that had this on the background, and you'll see a bigger piece of this when I open the journal, and it had rows and rows and rows of tickets, which you will also see in the journal. Then I had this paper. Let me see if I can find a full sheet here, and you'll see how I've used this medallion on some things, but on the back there were cutouts, and I have a bunch of those to show you that I worked with. So let me pull these out of the way. Now the back of this one has more of these as well. So let me show you what I did. Now the only challenge I had with this was that it used gold. And I get it, it was kind of an Olympic kind of thing, I think. So I get where they were going with that. But to me, snow and blue and white, you need silver. So there were some things that I had to change, and I'll show you how I swapped that out here in a minute. So I started out by cutting out all tickets, and I started out by cutting these larger ticket emblems. And they were in 2 sizes. They look like this, and they look like this. Now, as I said, I was not crazy about the gold. So where I could swap the gold out with silver, I did so. So I cut a lot of them apart. And you'll see how they came into play. This was one of the bigger ones, I think. Yes, this was one of the bigger ones on the cover. And I had a die set from Stampin' Up! That cuts out ticket shapes, and I think I already put it away, but it cuts out several ticket shapes. So I trimmed whatever the gold was. Here was some of the tickets they did in gold, and I just cut all the gold away and then cut the larger stamp base out in silver glitter paper. Now I backed it with this fabric, or this lace trim from Maddie. If I can get the bag open. Maddie has trouble putting stuff in bags. I have trouble getting it back out. But she had this lace trim. And I've used this behind here, and you'll also see it used on the very back. Then I've added the silver braid trim from Maddie's. Now this I brought up on dimensionals, so it comes up off the front cover a little bit. On the spine, I braced my spine with the blue cardstock. It is a Stampin' Up! Color Retired Seaside Spray. So I've used Seaside Spray as my base for everything. And then this, I've cut out that medallion and centered it. And then I had a snowflake brad in my stash. And then on the back, I've added one of the ticket bases with more of that ribbon, or more of that lace and more of the ribbon. So that was my front and back. Now I am going to leave the link to the video that Maddie did hers on, because she gives you all the dimensions for everything that you need, so that you can, this shows you do not have to use exactly what she uses. You can go through your stash and pull out something that inspires you to play with and do just that. So on the inside, on my front cover, let me pull these out so you can see this a little bit more. This is that piece that I had such a small piece of. And I cut front and back inside covers of that. And then here's where I had one of those larger tickets was trimmed in gold, and it had gold wording across the center. So I just put a strip of the silver to cover the center word, didn't need it. Frosty Mornings, Warm Memories was good enough. And then I cut a larger stamp frame out in the Seaside Spray. And then I've just punched out some of the tickets, edged them in Uncharted Mariner, and slid those right in that front pocket. Now you're going to see a pocket of some form on every page and on the sides. Now for the for the snowflakes, what I did was, if you saw me last week when I did the jelly printing with the stencil and the Uncharted Mariner on the jelly plate, I cut a bunch of those out using my Martha Stewart snowflake punch, this one here. Cut a bunch of those out, and then I layered them up. Now I did take and layer, and of course I didn't bring a pokey tool with me. Oh, I got my Tim Holtz one over here. Hang on. I'll be glad when I have everything in place over here. So I took one of my mini dimensionals from Stampin' Up, and I placed it in the center of the paper snowflake. Now before I put this one in place, what I did was I used these gems from Stampin' Up, and I used my Cosmic Shimmer Glue to put one of the larger gems in the center. And you'll see where this goes into the back at a point when it dries. And then I took one of these large gems from Stampin' Up, and this is, I need to really give myself an elbow room there, and just laid it in the center of that snowflake. And I'm just going to leave that alone and let that sit up for a minute, and then we'll come back and we'll put it together. So I'm going to set this aside. Don't let me forget it's up there. You know I do that. Okay. So then, if the tickets, I tried to alternate. Now, there were a couple that I messed up, but I tried to alternate whether I was going horizontal or vertical. But I have one of those on each page, and then I've got a large and small ticket tucked into each of the pockets. So here now, the vertical ones are going to go different. I've made these, punched these out. These are really slim tags. I rounded the corners using my mini corner rounder punch. Put a little bit more of that braided trim from Maddie and a silver brad up on the top, and then these will slide right into there. Now I'm going to be careful about sliding those in because they're not completely dry yet. So then I've got this one, Skier Paradise. This was another one I had to cut the gold away from. Then we have this one with snowshoes. And those pockets are really tight, so it's going to take them a little bit. And I tried to alternate whether something was low or high so that everything wasn't all bulked in one, either in the lower part or in the upper part of the book. I have that one with the Huskies, and it says sledding down a hill, and I thought that was appropriate for the dog sleds there. And then on this one we have another vertical, and it's all about skis. I almost did these with dimensional strips so that I had a little border in that pocket, and on some of them I wished I had. Cup of coffee, warm, wrap in a blanket, snuggle time, good time for a book and a cup of coffee. And then there's this one, and this was another one that had a gold word, so I just covered it with a piece of the scrap from the silver. And then we have this one. And we're going to stick that in there. And then there's another vertical. And I may have miscounted. There may be another vertical in here. I'm not sure. Nope, I'm good. Okay, so we have those. Now, you see these little tabs sticking out. Again, I've alternated whether I use the silver glitter paper or if I use the Seaside Spray cardstock. And I used these larger tickets from the paper as pullouts in each of the tags. I did all of my tags with a side pocket, so I can pull them out just like that. And I used the smallest whale tail die from Maddie. This is my set that I keep handy so I can find it. In fact, I don't even keep it with my dies. I keep it over here on my punch cart so that I don't lose it. But there are 3 sets of dies there, and I've used the smallest one to do these in either the silver or the blue, and then every side pocket has one of those. Now, I did only punch the hole on the front, and I'm going to show you when we get to the back how I did that. I may have to ring-get my punch. But then we've got this one with the bird. I think that might be a kingfisher, maybe. And then there's this one. So much powder, so little time. My paper sliding here. Well, this one comes out. I love this one with the tree. Now, this one is supposed to run this way, but I don't think it really matters. And then there's this one here. Skate as if no one is watching. And then there's this one here. Now, let me grab my punch really quick. I thought I had left it over here, but apparently I didn't. But it is a short walk across my studio, so there is that. Okay, now in able to get the hole on the front, I had to work from the back so that this part, the slim part, would fit down in the pocket. And I know this goes towards the bottom, so what I did was I just slid it in, went in as far as that away towards the left as I could, and then went down deep in the pocket about halfway. And then punched. And that gave me my hole. And I used the 3/4 inch punch. The 1/2 inch punch was too big. Or the 1 inch punch was too big. And then that slides right in there and gives me my pocket. And then on the back, this one I just glued in solid. So that I didn't have anything else tucking out there. Now I want to do another snowflake to go here to cover up that gold. But I do have the one, this is the one we just put together for that one. Like that. And I'll use my Cosmic Shimmer glue because my Tombow is over on the other side. I'm going to run across the room just for glue. Just like this. And then this one's way up high, so we can go ahead and we can put this one down here in the corner. And I'm going to leave that open and let it set. And that is what I use. Now, oh, for the tops of those little tags, let me pull one of these out. And I don't know if it's still available or not, but I used this punch from Stampin' Up. It's called Lovely Labels, and if it's still available, I will link it down below. But it let me do a small scallop on these very narrow punches, and very narrow tabs, and I like that part. See, once I work that in and out, that's a little easier. So let me tell you what I used. Now, for the challenge, we had to use at least 3 items on our project from Saks, from Spectrum Art Creations. So I used the Bow Bunny papers, the heart lace, the braid trim, my Ciao Bella stencil, the 5x7 jelly plate, which is how I did the backgrounds on all those tags, and the ink I got from Maddie was the Uncharted Mariner. It was in a 4 ink block pack that also included the new Scorched Timber. From my stash, I had the Snow Brad, the other Brads, the silver glitter paper, and the Martha Stewart Snowflake Punch. And my EK Success 3/4 punch. And then from Stampin' Up, I used the Seaside Spray cardstock. I used the gems on the snowflakes, and I used my dimensionals. So you can take and pick and choose anything from your stash. If you look at it and think, what do I have that goes with this? Pick a theme. And for me, it was winter because that was Maddie's theme. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to glue any more of that in there or not. I think I like it to give a little bit. But there's that tag book. Now, to give you an idea of what's coming up, I am going to start doing Try It Tuesdays the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of every month. I am going to start doing a longer premiere on the last Friday of each month because I can use a little bit more of my data then. By then I know how much data I have left on my HughesNet and how much I can burn. So I'm going to start doing longer premieres, probably 30 minutes roughly premieres on Fridays. That 30-minute premiere the other day took 4 gig and 4.5 hours to upload that I did last Friday. So that's why I'm going to save those. I know you guys want the larger videos. I just have to kind of space my data out. So the 4th, or the last Friday of every month, will be a longer premiere. Now I am going to jump into some challenges, and some of them are part of my Finish It. Maddie does Finish It Friday, so I'm going to be doing tagging in with her and doing finishing products that I will have videos. Probably that's what my Friday videos are going to be, is my Finish Fridays, so that I can get some of these projects out of the way. Trying to think what I wrote down yesterday. I sat at coffee yesterday and I planned out all of March and all of my Tuesdays and all of my Fridays. Today is also, or last Sunday, rather, the day I am recording this is also Reindeer Club Day, which means on the 25th of every month, I will showcase something on my blog having to do with Christmas. They are projects I've got sitting in here that I want to finish up, because remember, finish is my word of the year, and I'm determined to really finish up some things around here and get them done and up and out of the way. Some days I may use them as part of my Finish It Friday. If the 25th is going to fall in and about Reindeer Club, I may use a Reindeer Club project as my Finish It Friday. Or if it's a project that I can do in a video, and the 25th falls in the middle of the week. So that's a good thing. The other thing I'm going to be jumping in and doing is, I am doing the Margaret Miller Challenge. I am just about finished with my Junk Journal January. I'll be showcasing that probably in the next couple of weeks. And I'm going to be jumping in on the Dollar Tree Challenge with Jessica at Paper Terrace. Now, the reason I jumped into this challenge is because I've had a kit out in the warehouse for, I don't want to even say how long, let's just say it was before her youngest daughter was conceived. And her youngest daughter's in school, so yeah. And I thought it was so I told Jessica that's what I was going to do. I was going to jump in on the challenge with her. Except when I went out and pulled that kit out, I realized that journal's done. Why is it still sitting in a tub? So, since I'd already told Jessica I was going to play, I went out and I bought the challenge items that I needed. I am going to be doing another spring journal, and I will be showing you that video later this week, probably Thursday. So, that's what's coming up on this channel. If there is something in particular you would like me to show you, or you would like to see in general, I have a question and I can find a video who does that, just let me know and I will drop it in. I'm also going to make sure that I always have all of Spectrum Art Creation stuff. Links are in the description box below, because I use a lot of Spectrum Art Creations products. Now, they are not all of them are their personal products. They're products that they source from all over the world. And this was one of the reasons that I dropped out of Stampin' Up, was so that I could support companies like Stamperia and Ciao and Simple Stories and Bow Bunny and Spectrum Art Creations without any conflict of interest. And I have a lot of those projects here that I want to play with and I want to do stuff with, and I want to show you what I'm doing. So I will see you back here Thursday when I show you what I'm doing for Jessica's Dollar Tree Junk Journal Challenge. Thanks for joining me in the studio today. Remember to like, to share, and subscribe, and creative blessings.